My name's Wright, and I am a former U.S. military officer, retired from the U.S. military with 29 years in both the active component and the reserve component, and 16 years in the U.S. diplomatic corps in the Foreign Service. I had some very interesting assignments. My first one was in Nicaragua, Grenada, Uzbekistan, Somalia, and Kyrgyzstan, Sierra Leone, and Micronesia, and Afghanistan, and Mongolia. I resigned from the diplomatic corps in federal service in March of 2003 in opposition to the war in Iraq.
I firmly believe that going to war in Iraq was not the time to be using our military. It was the time to be using other skills and other techniques that nations, civilized nations, have, and that is perhaps something called diplomacy, and perhaps negotiations and talking. This is the first time we've all been together since we resigned 18 months ago. Brady was the first person that resigned, and then followed about 2 weeks later by John. Brady was in Athens, John was in Washington, and then I resigned from Mongolia. I was out in the far-flung reaches, so I was the third person to resign. And I must say that as things have turned out, I certainly am proud that I resigned then, and I'm only sad that I only have one resignation to give.
My resignation was an act of dissent. An act of patriotism, in my opinion. I think my loyalty is to my country and not to any administration. They are the ones that are unpatriotic. If they try to stifle dissent, try to stifle an honest discussion and dialogue about what our country stands for and where it's going, they're the ones that need to be taken to task. And that's what we're doing. We're taking them to task.
Well, let me tell you a few things I'm not resigned to. I'm not resigned to war. I'm resigned. I want peace. I'm not resigned to lies. I want truth. I'm not resigned to bombs. I want words. I'm not resigned to torture. I want human rights. Dissent in a democracy, speaking truth to power. We have to do that. We have to. We've got to stop this war.
We've got to start showing this administration every single day that we're after them. Anytime you're in Washington, you got to have your sign. You got to have your sign in your hip pocket. You got to come out here, and every day when George looks out that window, he's got to see us out there saying, "Stop the war! Stop the war!"
Thank you, American patriots! Thank you, Wright! Thank you, Wright! Thank you, Wright! Thank you, Wright! Thank you, Wright!
We, the people of the United States, are standing not only in Washington, D.C. today, but in every community in our nation. There are vigils going on, there are protests going on, and it was 5 years ago today, on March 19th, 2003, that I resigned from my position with the federal government in opposition to the war in Iraq. We just have to keep vigilant, keep pushing, pushing, pushing.